Oh, the dog. Yeah. All right, ready?
All right, well, thank you everyone so much for coming again to our second after graduation. The first one was a success, and I hope the same for this one as well. We will have a third after graduation on November 29th on a Tuesday. I hope to see you again, and this one will feature specifically students who have graduated from their accounting major. So before we start the program, I would like to introduce Professor Pelladino to speak about backpack to good cases.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I just want to remind you that backpack to good cases is now back as an in-person event. We'll be taking our coach bus to New York City on Tuesday, November 15th. And we're there for the day. We'll see some alums in their place of business, so that's pretty cool. We're about to have it down the street with all the professionals. It's a little glimpse at your potential future. And it's a pretty fun day. We've been doing it remotely the last couple of years, so we're very pleased to be back in person. I don't know which alums have agreed to host us in their offices yet, but I will circulate that information once I know it. If you're able to leave your classes for that day, and it is an excused absence. I'm not saying you're not responsible for the material, but you have to let your professors know that you're attending this event, and it's an excused absence like any other college event that you would attend. And you can go down for the day and network with some of our alums who were in these seats not that long ago. A little longer ago than these stars here, but not that long ago. So it's a really great day. Now, I did find out in the last hour that the link to Jesse Holland and Will County Settle might be broken. I'm going to figure out that. I got a teammate working with me to figure out what's going on with that, and I'll let everybody know tomorrow if that link is fixed if you're interested in signing up. Okay? Can I answer any questions about it? That's the Reader's Digest version. Some of these stars up here, I know Carly's been, Aaron's been. So you can ask them or maybe a question about it too if you have more from the student perspective on it. No questions? Okay.
Thank you. I would like to also say a special thank you to Michelle Hansen and Alumni Engagement for putting this event together. So with that, I would like the panelists to introduce themselves for us to continue the program. And let's start in order by Carly, Aaron, Moses, and Christian.
Hi, I'm Carly. I graduated here in 2021, and I am currently a portfolio management analyst for WTW. And I'm just happy to be here. Thanks for having me and listening to me.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erin. I graduated from Oneonta in 2020. I currently live and work in Manhattan for Morgan Stanley as a virtual engagement associate. And yeah, I'm also very happy to be here. I look forward to answering your questions.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Moises Rosari. I'm from Uptown Manhattan, graduated from Oneonta in 2021. Currently, I'm living in Nashville as an expansion consultant for Phi Kappa Psi fraternity. Check me on LinkedIn.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christian Smith. I graduated in SUNY Oneonta in 2021 with an economics and sports management degree. I currently work at a new tech startup called Seamless AI. I'm a sales development representative over there. Definitely look at my LinkedIn. I'm happy to be here. The Economics Club has only been good to me. Shout out Dr. K. Thank you for reaching out to me and giving me the opportunity to be here. I've worked alongside him for a very long time at SUNY Oneonta. So it's a pleasure, and I look forward to speaking with all you guys today.
Thank you. So first, I'll introduce the board quick. I'm Logan. I'm the president of the Economics Club.
I am Justin. I am the vice president of the Economics Club.
Hi, I'm Deja. I'm PR of the Economics Club.
And hi, I'm Joe. I'm filling in for the secretary of the Economics Club.
Okay. So first, we'll ask questions to the panelists. Each panelist will have a specific question geared toward them. We'll start with Carly. I will ask Carly's questions. Justin will ask Aaron's questions. Deja will ask Moses' questions, and Joe will ask Christian's questions. And then after that, we'll get into the Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and ask them during the time. And then around 8:40, we'll get into general questions if no one else has any questions. Okay. All right, first question for Carly. What was your journey like to get to your current role?
Honestly, it was a struggle. I didn't have a job after graduation, so of course I was in like a freak out mode. So I also didn't really know what I wanted to do anyway. So I just reached out to a bunch of alumni on LinkedIn, and I just was networking with them, asking them how their job was. I really didn't go in with the idea of like getting a job from them. I kind of just wanted to learn from them. And so then eventually how I got to my role, it was kind of just by luck. It was maybe also by like sprucing up my resume with the alumni and with the Career Development Center. But I think for the most part, I kind of just worked hard throughout college and then got the job interview and then just practiced my interviewing skills with alumni as well. And then I was able to just end up here, which I'm really thankful for.
Thank you very much. I think that shows the importance of networking on LinkedIn. And now for Erin, how did you break through into the financial industry?
Hi, yeah. So I similarly didn't have a job after graduation. I was supposed to graduate Oneonta in 21. I graduated in 2020 because I was doing my 4-year degree in 3. So I had my last semester in COVID, graduated, walked the stage in my childhood bedroom, and didn't have a plan really because it was all kind of, the world was ending, right? And kind of confused what was happening. So I ended up just getting any job I could take, which was working as an administrative assistant for a plastic surgeon's office. And so from there, I had some source of income and I started to, flex my network, get my feet back on the ground. And I got into data analytics. And then from there, I got offered a full-time job, but I was working for the government at the time and I didn't want to get the golden handcuffs. I had always wanted to go into finance. And I was really just trying to break through with no such luck. And to speak candidly, one night I was at the bar with my friends and somebody approached me who we just started talking. And after some conversation, found out he worked at Morgan Stanley. And he said, "Oh, are you like in the market for a job?" I said, "I am actually, yeah." And we networked, we got coffee, we discussed further. And he put his Morgan Stanley ID on my application. So it kind of carried it through with some support. And then from there, I was able to interview 3 times and a super day. And then I was able to get my job. And when I would tell people this story, I'd often say like, his name was Justin, the guy I had met. And I would say, "Oh, Justin got me my job." But it took a little bit to realize that, yeah, Justin, put his Morgan Stanley ID on my application and vouched for me. However, it was my education, my personal skill, and my qualifications that got me that job. The moral of this story is basically be nice to the people you meet, even when you're in and out of a work setting, because you don't know who or where you're going to go or who's going to take you to where you're going to go. So yeah, Justin is still to this day a good friend, and he's since left the company, but we stay in touch. And so I will be forever thankful that I went to the bar that night.
Thank you for that, Erin. This next question is for Moises. How does your economics degree apply to the workforce?
Well, currently in the role that I'm in, it's more of the nonprofit sector, but I'd like to gas up the economics degree as it's pretty much a Swiss Army knife on your resume. Being an economics major and a sports management major just gave me the edge that I needed to get into the spaces that I am interested in, as economics provides great data analysis that employers look for, as well as creativity, believe it or not. Because prior to this role, I was a sales support assistant and I got really good with Excel because of economics. And my boss at the time was actually very impressed. And I was just like, yeah, I just learned it through economics. But your economics degree is what you take out of it. So definitely the data analysis skills make it the most valuable.
Thanks, Christian. Or Moises, sorry. So Christian, what experiences do you think contributed the most to get you to where you are today?
I definitely, just like, Carly and Aaron said, I came out of college and I did not have an immediate job lined up. I think COVID, caused a lot of havoc for all of us, but luckily we're all here today and we were able to, move past it. I definitely think the experiences that led me to here currently where I'm at in my role right now is just taking opportunities in front of me. In college, just trying to join as many clubs as possible. I was one of the founders who actually helped start the sports management club in Oneonta. Just being a part of my fraternity, Phi Kappa Psi. They were a great asset. They helped me with my networking, expanding, me reaching out to more people, getting more opportunity. And if there's one thing I could tell everybody who's currently, a senior or a junior, take as much opportunity as you can at SUNY Oneonta. They have a lot of things to offer, whether it's if you need money, whether if it's you need help with classes, you need help with books, networking, anything. The school is one thing that I've always noticed and that they've helped me with is that they're always going to be there for you. So take advantage of that, ask questions, ask professors, reach out to people, reach out to alumni, because everybody is going to be most likely a helping hand at some point for one another. So I think just taking as much opportunities as you can and taking those risks is what led me where I am today.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Next question for Carly. While you were at Oneonta, do you have any idea that your job existed?
I had no idea that my job existed. I actually didn't even know my whole industry existed. I work in pensions and benefits. And so I always knew that they were a thing. Like they've always just been a thing. People talking about pensions and benefits and insurance and everything. But I never really stepped back and kind of applied it to like how they are actually executed. And so now that I finally got into the role that I'm in, it's really amazing to just see all the inner workings of just all the teams that work together and how we just get from like raising money for these pensions benefits to the end consumer, which is the employees of the companies.
Thank you very much for that. And it shows that you can end up in unexpected places. For Aaron, what is something you wish you had known upon graduation that you now know?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. One thing that I wish I had learned earlier, although I'm grateful to know it now still, is that hard work matters, but it probably doesn't matter as much as you may think. Sorry, Dr. K, Dr. Story, if that doesn't help you, anything you're trying to tell them right now. But what I will say is really important is clarity on where you want to go and what you want to do. And now hard work does matter, but it probably doesn't matter in the way you think. Like, you can work hard, but you need to have an idea of where you want to go. If you're putting a lot of hard work into sales and real estate and consulting and all these different sectors, you're going to be working really hard with not a lot of progress. Because if you take 10 steps, but the other person takes 12, that person's going to outbeat you every time. And you might have outbeat them if you had put all your energy and focus into one thing. And that's not to say that having a myriad of skills is important, but you need to figure out kind of where you want to go. And now that at this point in life is like, well, I don't know what I want to do. And I completely get that. And I am still in the same boat. I don't know what I want to do either. But that's why the most important thing you can do is put yourself in a position to figure out what you want to do. And how do you do that? Network, network, network. The saying that your network is your net worth, it's corny, but it's true. In my job, in my industry, who you know is exactly what you need. So don't be afraid to reach out. People are so willing to talk to you. Even people who are way high up, like you'd be surprised. And getting to know people is one of the blessings in this life. Everybody is so different and we all have different perspectives, and you can gain a lot of knowledge from a myriad of different people. So yeah, definitely flex your network and just get ready to be a lifelong learner.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that advice, Aaron. The next question is from Moises. What's the hardest thing about transitioning to life after graduation and finding a job?
Well, I feel like the hardest thing about transitioning to life after graduation is that when you're in college, you're surrounded by your friends all the time. Me and Christian Smith were in the same organization, and like I was so used to seeing him all the time, and then now like that I'm like down south, I don't see anyone that I used to see, and it's mostly just text messages and phone calls. But outside of that, graduation has been very interesting because never in my life would I think I'd be working for the fraternity I was in. It's not really my top three, but it's definitely an interesting experience. And I think the thing that you guys should take away is that you guys should definitely apply to everything that you see, because I got this job through just like responding to an email, and then now I'm a kid from uptown New York in Nashville, and it's just been very interesting. So the hardest thing about graduating is just like thinking you're going to get one job, but then you end up with the other. But you know, life puts you where you need to be. So definitely keep your head up.
Very true, Moises. Christian, this next question for you. What do you think are the most important things you can do now and after graduation to help jumpstart your career?
I think we all touched on this a little bit, but I would definitely say, exactly what Aaron said. Your network is your net worth. So being able to just reach out, take those opportunities, take a risk in yourself, and whether it's like investing time in something that you believe that you can achieve one day, or just putting your head down and making sure that you get the best GPA possible when you graduate. Just setting goals for yourself, I think, is the most important. I think what everybody should do is this year, all you seniors, set 3 goals for yourself. Set one for the semester, set one for the end of the year, and set one for after graduation. Achieve every single one of them. And if you don't, that's okay. That's life. Keep working hard towards that goal, because in the end, it might lead you to something better at the end of the day. So I think the most important thing that you could do now and after graduation to help you jumpstart is just taking those opportunities, reaching out to people, reaching out to your professors, trying as hard as you can, because college really does fly fast. 4 years went by in a blink, and I didn't know where I was going to be after. And I'm very happy with the current role that I'm in, the industry that I work in, my job title, the company that I work for. And all that was possible from just being consistent and working hard and telling myself, I'm going to finish this degree. I'm going to give it my all. And then this piece of paper is going to help me later on in life. Although I didn't fully use my economics degree to work in, something specifically in economics, but it is a business degree. And it does show that I was willing to work 4 years hard and attain something and stick to it. And that's the most important thing that I want you guys to take out of this. You don't have to work specifically in an economics role just because you have an economics degree. A degree shows that you were willing to stick and work through something without quitting for X amount of years or months or however long it takes. So take that with a grain of salt and use it to your advantage, and definitely just, work hard. That's all you have to do, is just keep working hard, guys.
Thank you. That's great. The last question for Carly. Did your experience as a tutor and secretary at the Student Learning Center at Oneonta be transferable skills to your current role as a portfolio management analyst? And has it improved your communications with clients and coworkers?
Yeah, it definitely has improved communications with my coworkers. I only work internally, so I don't communicate with our clients, but due to just working as a peer tutor, I've kind of unofficially taken on the task of onboarding our new analysts on our team. And that's helped me just because I kind of know how to take these extremely difficult and niche topics in my field of work and kind of just like condense them and make them digestible for the new analysts, because it could definitely feel like you're drinking from a fire hose with how much information you have to learn in like the first week or two. And also for the secretary role, it's really helped me just learn how to collaborate with my coworkers. I was kind of just thrown into the job mid-semester when midterms were happening. So a lot of people were coming in for tutoring, and we had to coordinate just where to put the files, closing, and just all these other practices that I kind of don't really remember. But I remember having to reach out to them and just be like, what am I doing? Like, how do I do this? Just because when you start a new job, you're not expected to know this stuff. Like, yes, I did get a degree in business economics, but just because I'm in this field, it doesn't mean I know this exact thing. So I think that's a really important thing I had to learn, is just like, don't be afraid to ask questions. There are no dumb questions, because no one, like, how are you supposed to know any of this? Like, I still ask questions. So that's definitely what I've learned from the Student Learning Center, and it's just a great resource in general.
It is a great resource, and it shows one of the best ways to learn is to actually teach. So thank you very much for that. And the final question for Erin. would be, how does your current role differ from your position as database manager? And what skills did you learn from each experience?
Yeah, prior to this, like I said, I was the database manager of the Human Rights Commission in Westchester County, New York. Vastly different than working for Morgan Stanley, a huge wirehouse focused on making profit. So yeah, vastly different. The one thing that they overlap is the data. I'm a very data-driven person, so that's what they have in common. But the main difference I would say is I am working with the same people in my current role at Morgan Stanley. I kind of work as an internal consultant, and I work with financial advising teams, and I make sure that they are doing all they can to prospect and get new clients by properly advertising their LinkedIn's, their websites, creating Facebooks for their practices, et cetera. Whereas in the Human Rights Commission, I was definitely more internal, worked completely by myself, reviewing caseloads, making sure the data was organized, accurate, and telling a complete picture. As for the skills I learned from each, both definitely taught me that it's essential to track your data because data is important. However, one data point doesn't tell you a story. You need several to tell a comprehensive and holistic story that can then give you inferences as to how to proceed in the future. So with that being said, keep track of your goals. Like Christian said, definitely set goals, monitor them, keep yourself honest. And just to piggyback off Carly's, I also tutored at the SLC. Great resource, go there if you can. Accounting and econ used to be on Mondays and Tuesdays. I don't know what it is now, but I'm sure somebody in that room can tell you.
Thank you for that, Erin. The next question is from Moises. How has your fraternity supported your post-grad? What is expected of you in a fraternity post-grad?
So unfortunately, they didn't get me a job at the New York Knicks, obviously. I don't know, I have a great support network for life that I can rely on. I made some of my best friends at school through my organization, and I'm not trying to advertise, but while you're in undergrad, definitely join an organization that makes you feel at home, as these will be your connections that you will have through life. Actually, my first internship that I got through college was through one of my brothers. And then after that, I worked at an after school, and then I did data analysis for an events company. And yeah, it's been a crazy ride that landed me working for them in Nashville. But outside of that, what's expected for you post-grad is pretty much, it's what you make of it. Because like most things in this life, what you put in is what you get out. So it's all about what you want to do. And obviously I decided to get back in here. So it's been really great to be able to, give others the experience that I had and be able to create, better communities at the campuses I'm at. But yeah.
Thanks, Moises. So this is the last question for Christian. You did freelance work for 5 years. What type of self-made work would you recommend bringing to a job interview? A capstone study, your best project, or one related to the job?
That's a great question. It depends if you have something that relates to the job, like some sort of project that you studied and you have research for it, analytical data. I definitely think if it pertains to the role, most definitely bring it. Make sure that your resume is tailored. The one thing that I could say is make sure your resume is tailored to that specific job. You're going to revise your resume every single time you apply to a job. Just a heads up to everybody. If you hate it now, start to love it because you're going to have to do it regardless. Just like Carly, she's a portfolio manager, management role, I believe, an analyst. That pertains, I believe, marketing and stuff. And her resume is going to differ from mine because mine is within sales. So definitely keep it up to date. Try to write as much experiences as you can. HR, human resources, when they read your resume, rather, they want bullet points on what you were able to achieve and impact at these places. So let's say you are in the economics club at SUNY Oneonta. What was your role there? Did you play a role? Did you contribute? Did you do any sort of volunteer work? Did you do stand-ups like this? Just putting pain points on what it is that you were able to do and achieve at these certain roles, I think is going to be the best point in helping you get or land a better resume for a job. So just making sure you revise it, adding as much assets as you can, I think is the most important part, and just being confident in yourself and show what you achieve.
Thank you. So now we'll go into Q&A. So if anyone from the audience has a question, now is the time to ask any of the panelists your question.
Could be anything. Any question relating for any one of them, relating to any topic?
Yeah.
We emphasize networking is very important. Do you have an opinion on the best way to do that outside of LinkedIn?
So the question was, what is the best way to do networking outside of LinkedIn? Anyone wants to answer? Any panelists?
I'll start it up real quick because I network a lot, and I think that's like one of the most important parts of my role. I work, just to give you guys a little insight, for a company called Seamless AI. We're a tech startup where we work in the SaaS industry, which is software as a service. What we built was a search engine for business contact data. So it's very universal. You could essentially think of a Google search engine, but one for verified cell phone numbers, emails, direct dials, for business to business contact data. So let's say you own a tech firm or a medical tech firm and you want to sell devices to doctors and stuff, we can get you their information. And I think with that, I had to network a lot outside of LinkedIn as well. There's other applications that you could use in order to just find businesses or find people. Utilize your social media as well. You know, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, people look at that. And that's very apparent, you know, in this world that we live in. I actually had to sign a contract before I agreed to my job, just stating, you know, like, I am a reflection of them. So anything that I put online, you know, I could be terminated if it's something that they wouldn't agree with. So just being aware of that, using it to your ability. I've reached out, you know, just like Aaron, I actually got a job offer for a sales role in a bar as well. Unfortunately, I didn't take the role, but it was nice to connect with someone, and I'll always have that in my back pocket just if I need. So always be nice to people. You never know who they are, what they could help do for you or what you could help do for them. Take advantage of using your social media as much as possible, but nothing is ever going to be as prevalent as walking up to someone and shaking their hand and saying, my name is blah, blah, blah. So use the internet to your best of ability, but make sure that you could use your face-to-face more often.
Of course, in person being the most powerful tool. If any other panelists wants to add on to that, they can. And if anyone else wants to ask another question to them, now's the time. In the back. Can you repeat that?
Do you have any advice for avoiding burnout?
The question was, do you have any advice for avoiding burnout? Anyone can reply.
I can definitely speak to that, as I was in a role about 5 months ago that really pushed me to my limits, as I was just not really talking to people. I was just staring at a spreadsheet all day, every day, getting told I was making mistakes left and right, even though I wasn't. But besides that, in terms of relieving burnout, it's important to reach out to your connections, as people are there to listen to you and actually like take care of you. Because I think at the end of the day, when you're transitioning from college to the real world, you forget that you're a human being and that there's more to life than finding a job. So it's definitely important to, you know, actually talk to your friends and your support network, and that you have people that love you, because getting a job is not the end of the world, even though you do need one. But yeah, talk to your family.
Moises makes a great point. Again, yeah, we're gonna flex the network for sure. I really can't stress that enough. You know, like in life, in business, in every aspect of your entire life, it takes a village. So don't be afraid to delegate. I recently this summer had an intern, which at 23 feels really weird, but I had to learn how to delegate to him and give him certain tasks that were pretty routine for me, but he needed the opportunity to learn. Don't think of delegating as like, oh, I can't do it. It's more so, oh, I'm extending an opportunity to somebody else. So remember to delegate, remember to prioritize. It's really important to get everything done, but the way and the order in which you get them done matter too. And then lastly, boundaries exist for a reason. Don't be afraid to say no. I wouldn't say no to an assignment per se. You know, if something's due, it's due. But learn that there's certain tasks that just maybe you don't need to be doing. You really are going to step into your voice as you get into your career. So start now.
Shows the importance of support systems and really building confidence over time. If anyone else has any other questions, you can reply now. Don't feel ashamed. Any subject is fine. Any questions?
Take advantage of this, guys. You guys could ask us anything. We were just in your shoes not so long ago. And when we came out, it was COVID and we didn't know what to do. So ask us anything. Take advantage of it.
If you go back to a first semester senior, what goals would you set yourself to be the same or better spot than before now?
The question was, if you could go back as a first semester senior, what goals would you set for yourself now and in the future to set yourself up?
I definitely, if I could go back to that first semester senior year, I would have structured my day-to-day better. I think time management is a very important aspect if you want to be successful in anything. You need to have a structure, you know, waking up at a certain time, doing certain things, having your own time for mental health and stuff is very important. So what I would do to go back is obviously prioritize my schoolwork more. I would love to have gotten, I had a good GPA, but I could have had a great GPA if I just worked a little bit harder. So definitely take this time now to acknowledge it, because let's say you want to work for big name companies. This doesn't always happen, but you know, if you want to work for a Morgan Stanley, you know, Erin was able to get that because of the fact that one, she had a great GPA, probably she was able to graduate within 3 years. So that's a bonus as well. She probably had a lot of things on her resume to add and attribute to what she did over here at SUNY Oneonta. So just making sure you take advantage of the time and the year that you have now, and working as hard as you can is very, very important, guys. You're going to have a lifelong opportunity to party and have fun and see your friends, but you're only going to have a small window of opportunity to get that degree. So work your hardest, have no regrets, and really just give it your all. Take those opportunities, take those risks. Because if I could go back, there's a lot of things I could change, and I could sit here for an hour and talk to you guys, but you probably wouldn't want to hear every single detail. So just take it with what you heard and just work hard, guys. Just work hard.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? We're still taking. John?
Yeah, I was wondering, what elective would you say was the most fun while you were here?
I will hop in here. Shout out Dr. Story, College Fed Challenge, best class I ever took. You got to take it. Highly, highly recommend. If not this year, it's probably too late. Next year for certain. That class pushed me out my comfort zone. The Fed meets tomorrow. I wouldn't know that if I didn't take Fed Challenge. And I met some of my closest friends from that class who I still see and work with every day. Carlo, who was in Phi-Sci, close friend of mine. My really good friend I presented with, Jimmy Mulvey. We literally work right across the street together now. We keep in touch. I see him every week. And yeah, that class changed my life, to put it simply.
Thank you very much. I can vouch for that.
I would definitely say that taking senior seminar was a very interesting class. I know it's mandatory for every single economics major in there, but just being able to take a lot of time and effort and put it into something and make a case study out of it was very, very interesting. I got to work alongside with Dr. K for a lot of it. So that's what I found to be very fun. And we constantly had to do presentations like this, and it was in front of the whole entire economics board. So we had, 10 plus professors staring at you saying, what did you learn? What did you do? What did you study? Obviously, there was different tasks and assignments that we had to complete. But because of that, I think it made, I always felt like I was a decent public speaker, but it made me step out my comfort zone, like Aaron said, even more, just because of the fact that, you know, I was in front of the whole entire board of economics and some of the professors I didn't even know. So just trying to impress them and show them the hard work ethic and the time and effort I put into my work, I think really attributed to me just being successful later on outside of school.
Thank you very much. And we're still accepting questions from the audience, so feel free to ask any question relating to any subject.
Justin, I don't think I have a question, but I just want this group to know that these panelists, it's down by the way, Aaron, Carmen, I had those guys in class. So the network, I want to reinforce that because this is not just an event attending, it's very entertaining and I'm learning stuff, but I know Aaron and I know Carly, I had them in class. When it's a network, I'm seeing where they are now. So it's not just an event that I'm attending. Are you seeing the difference? I know them. So that's what you're going to get out of your networking experiences. And these guys really reinforce the networking. So that's what I'm wanting you to take away from this as an opportunity. So yes, we're attending the event, we're doing great things, but I know those ladies. And so this is a great personal experience. And that's what they were trying to stress with networking. So keep that in mind.
Always keep that in mind.
Just to piggyback off that a little bit, you guys all can shoot me a LinkedIn connection. I'd be more than happy to follow everybody here who attended this meeting. I think it's very important, like she said, Professor, just to stay up to date with that, have as many connections as possible. You know, people follow me all the time on LinkedIn. And if, you know, I don't really know them or anything, I decline it just because the fact that they want to reach my connections and my network so they could reach out to other people and try to do business or reach out to them. So like Aaron said, you know, your network is your net worth. So keep it tight, secure. And if anybody wants to give me a follow, do it right now or whenever the meeting ends, I'd be more than happy to accept it.
Of course, feel free to connect right after this meeting. Any other questions? In the back.
What were some of the goals that you set for yourself when you graduated?
The question was, what were some of the goals you set for yourself when you graduated?
Moises, you could go, or Carly.
My goal, I mean, plain and simple, it was just to get a job. So I feel like that's just like not really probably a great answer, but just to get that job, you just have to like work hard. And burnout is real with getting a job though. So it was really difficult just to like keep going after getting rejection letter after rejection letter. And so within that goal, there were just priorities I had to maintain, and I had to just like keep looking at like the light at the end of the tunnel because it really does pay off. You get your lucky break or you find a great network to be a part of, or who knows how life will treat you post-grad, but just make sure that you remember your priorities and remember what you're working towards.
Of course, thank you very much. Be always very careful about burnouts. Any other questions in the audience or in the chat? Anyone in person? Any questions?
Go, Joe. Yeah.
What was your biggest project where you are at work?
The question was, what was the biggest project you've worked on at work?
I'll give my answer. This might sound like a cop-out, but I have clients, and so those are consistent projects. You know, the individual is my project, and my job is a bit of a hybrid between like marketing and finance. It's basically like the Fed's meeting tomorrow, so I have to turn that into a social media post for a financial advisor. And so it's constantly staying recent, staying up to date, being timely, being a thought leader, and then making it tailored to an individual that's not myself. So it's kind of like every day in itself is a project, not necessarily one key thing. But that's just my role. And there's 3 other people here who can definitely answer their biggest project.
Yeah, I would definitely say this is my best answer for it. At least at my last role, I was a sales account executive for a digital marketing firm in Long Island. We worked specifically in the restaurant industry. So, you know, I just like Aaron, I had a lot of clients and I had to tailor to their needs and show them what we could do in order to help market their specific restaurant in their certain industry. I think just tailoring it to them, like she said, is very important. Everybody's going to be different. Everybody's going to have different needs and wants. So you have to show it what's in it for them. That's the most important part. And then you'll catch their attention. If that answered the question.
I definitely think that one of my biggest projects came at my last job where it was the end of the day. It was 5 p.m. I was ready to log off, and then my boss was like, "Hey, I have a big project and I need it done by 9 a.m." And then I actually had concert tickets that day to go see Griselda. And then I had to get downtown, catch a little bit of the concert, get back home. And then I ended up spending the whole night just doing an Excel sheet. So make sure you work in an environment where that's not going to get in your way, because that's not fun.
My biggest project, rather than tailoring it to the client, just again, because I'm not client facing, I have to tailor it to the macroeconomic environment. And so like what Aaron was saying, how the Fed's meeting tomorrow and they're most likely going to raise rates. I have to prepare for that for my portfolios to make sure that they don't lose money. And I also work on an international scale. So just looking at like the UK gilt market went crazy like a couple of weeks ago or last week. I had to kind of just work with the client service team and just work through how to calm down clients and make sure that everything's okay. And so those are probably my biggest projects, just kind of pivoting when the market pivots.
Thank you all very much. Those were phenomenal answers. And if anyone else have any other questions? In the back.
As newly graduates, how do you guys maintain work-life balance?
The question was, as new graduates, how do you maintain a work-life balance?
That is an amazing question because I'm still trying to figure it out. I think we're so young into the workforce that it's hard to give a certain answer on, X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, I think it matters about that time management. Going back to that, just finding what you enjoy, and when you clock out of work, making sure that you are not focused on work at all, and making sure that when you are clocked in at work, you're giving it your all every single second of it, and just staying focused on task. That's really what's going to make you successful and give you that work-life balance. Other companies, are different. They give you different opportunities. Sometimes I know during the summer we had summer Fridays, where as long as we reached, what we had to do for that week, we were able to get off early on Fridays, which was very nice. But just making sure that you stay focused on work when you have to be there, and making sure that you're focused on yourself when you're not out of work is the most important part, on my belief at least.
I'm going to echo everything Christian said. He's exactly right. Be present, be where your feet are. If you're at work, work hard. If you're at home, play hard. But honestly, I was talking about this with a coworker today. I carve out an hour or two every day. That's just me time. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm a yoga teacher outside of Morgan Stanley. So I'll do yoga, I'll read, I'll do skincare, I'll do anything that just makes me happy. Because at the end of the day, you have to show up for yourself, and it's super essential to do that. It's easy not to, trust me, I've been there. And we all have, but you have to dedicate the time. And so even if it takes like setting an alarm for 60 minutes, you could even do 30 if you really don't have that much time, but that's your time. You do what you want with it. Just make yourself a priority, because work can be a lot. So
it's also important to make sure that you use the time outside of work to your advantage, as there's only so many hours in a day. And I realized that when I was commuting from Far Rockaway all the way to Midtown, and that would be like an hour 30 each way. It was painful when my train got delayed. So you have to make sure that you're using the most out of your time, because you only have so much personal time. So what I recommend doing is that when you guys actually get a job, is that you look at the amount of time that it takes to get to your job, the amount of time that it takes to get back home from your job. Then you also figure out what you can do, what you can fit in while you're commuting. Like one thing that I picked up while I was taking the train, I started to read a lot as I was doing nothing on the train except scrolling on my phone. So just pick up hobbies, make sure you're using the most out of your time. Also put down your phone. Your phone takes up a lot of time of your day. If you put down your phone, you'll be able to do a lot of things because you don't realize when you're looking at Instagram for like 2 hours looking for a funny meme. It just, you need to put it down.
For me, for time management, I work from home. And so it kind of takes me back to the COVID days for schooling. And while I don't have a strenuous commute, like Moises said, that means I could just wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning and work and work and work and work. And then all of a sudden it's dark. And then I'm like, okay, but let me eat dinner while I work. And then let me like get ready and work and do all this stuff and work. It's just like, you kind of really have to just delineate your work-life balance. And I saw this thing, I don't know where or when I even heard it, but it's always just stayed in my mind. Instead of thinking of it as time management, you think of it as energy management, which is what everyone was saying. Like, should I put my energy into this? And then will it drain me for this? And so I think that's really important to just kind of remember.
That's phenomenal advice, and I think it can be very relatable for everyone here. And if anyone else has any other questions relating to anything at all?
My question is just for Erin. Was the highlight of her college career when she got to play on the faculty?
A question from this story was the highlight of your college career when you got to play on the econ team for trivia?
The highlight was actually when the econ teachers and I won trivia at Bombers. Rest in peace. Yeah, that was definitely the highlight.
Yeah, some great times. But any other questions? If not, we're gonna move on to just general questions in which during that time you can think of a question, and if you have one, you can just ask us. So on to the first one.
All right, so we'll start with Kylie and then work our way down the same order as before. First general question is, what are the day-to-day activities at work like for you?
Yeah, I probably should have explained this before I even got on. My day-to-day activities as a portfolio management analyst include, well, I guess it's just different for every day, but it's just like going through my emails, and then usually other teams will reach out to me. So I work with like a manager research team, a trade management team, client service team. I'm on the portfolio management team. And so there's a lot of collaboration happening. And so with that, there's a lot of tasks that happen. So it's hard to pinpoint what my actual day-to-day job is, but other things I do, as well as I just do trades for clients, go in and out to just raise cash so that they could give that cash to their employees for their benefits and pensions. And I just do like miscellaneous side work. Like I'll run some meetings, and I'll, I don't even know what I have to do. I have so much stuff on my to-do list. It's hardy. What I learned from that is just to write down everything that you have to do, because you will forget.
And then Erin, if you'd like to answer the same question.
Yeah. To start, I work in wealth management. If anybody has any questions specifically about my role or anything they want to ask me or don't want to ask in front of the crowd, again, like Christian said, please connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, and there's no such thing as a stupid question. Furthermore, I am a virtual engagement associate. My job is to leverage social media, NBA, which is basically our email platform at Morgan Stanley, and the financial advisors' websites in order to make them look like the best possible option as a financial advisor to their clients. So I come up with ideas tailored to them weekly. We meet once a week, every team. I have 14 teams. And so, yeah, that just requires knowing my advisors on an intimate level. I work with a team that's a father-son team, and I know that they're a little more sarcastic. And so when we do custom content, like maybe a work anniversary, like I know I have to write in a bit of a wise ass tone. And so I'll do that because my job is to play them on their social media, right? So it's really about crafting social media posts that sound like them, about writing and making emails that sound like them, and making sure their website is perfect and in compliant with the SEC.
Thank you. And then Moises, if you'd like to answer this question.
So on the contrary to my spreadsheet background, I currently work as an expansion consultant for my old fraternity, Phi Kappa Psi. Pretty bizarre, but it's a real job. So I manage a group of 3 guys, and we're trying to get their group bigger. As I'm at Vanderbilt's campus right now, and we're just trying to get people to join and build something brand new on this campus. I handle all of our social media, all of our emails. I handle correspondence with the school. I talk to alumni who are much older than everyone in the room, but they're great people. And honestly, it's just like being a coach for a soccer team, but the soccer team is like 18-year-old guys. So I don't know, it's very fun. But yeah.
Very cool, thank you.
I would say my role is definitely different from Moises. I'm a sales development representative. I work in the tech sales industry. Like I said, SaaS, which is software as a service. My day entails a lot of inbound and outbound reach, doing a lot of calling as well as booking meetings. My tool, like I said, is not industry specific. So I'm reaching out to a lot of people within a lot of different industries, anywhere from, it could be tech to construction to marketing. I reach out to a lot of people that are in, Carly's role, and just try to tell them how I could help expand their outreach, and what we could help do for their business, and tailor meetings for them to show them how our tool could be useful for them. Because, if you own a business and you want to do some sort of sales, we could help you in any sort of way possible. So just doing a lot of outreach, making sure that my connections, sending out a lot of emails, calling people constantly, booking meetings, making sure those meetings hold. A lot of things happen. People show me all the time. That part sucks. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do every single day. And if anybody wants to, ask me questions about how to get into business sales at all, feel free to reach out. I'd be more than happy to just give you an idea of what it is that you need to do in order to perform for an interview, for your resume, or possibly any roles that I could help you guys attain.
Thank you. Is there any other questions from the audience? Take last minute questions. Next, we're going to ask John to come up, and he'll talk about events that are coming up with his clubs. It's part of the Entrepreneur Club and Accounting Club. And then after that, we'll end the discussion. So if you want to speak, or just talk, whatever.
Probably use speaker.
Yeah.
All right. Hello. Okay. It's gotta be close. I gotta put it close. Okay. All right. So basically, I got a little time at the end of this to let you all know about the couple of events coming up. I'm actually in 2 different clubs, so I'm gonna do two different clubs. The first one coming up is gonna be in a couple days. It's gonna be a movie showing at the Red Dragon Theater. It's called Pirates of the Silicon Valley. It's about Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and how they kind of came up and all their struggles going through as entrepreneurs. The next one is going to be on the 7th. It's going to be with the Accounting Society. We're going to have a speaker come in. We're going to have a guy come in. We're going to have a visitor come in and speak about his experiences in his firm, CPA firm. So I believe that's going to be a lead credit. So still working that out, but more than likely a lead credit. And then a couple of days after that, on the 10th, with the Entrepreneurship Club at IRC 1, there's going to be a visitor, Michelle Caton. She's with the she's with the local government, also what's called Small Business Association, and she will come in and
go over everything you need to know about starting a small business. So please come and ask questions. She's a real professional. She's been doing this for years, and she graduated from Binghamton years ago. So, and after that, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, there you go.
If there's no other questions, I'd like to thank the panelists for coming on and sharing their experiences in college and post-college. And I'd like to also thank my e-board for asking the questions. And thank you everyone for coming to the event today.